Hello everyone. Welcome to watch the training program of Fanview Technology. This course is IP phone middle level course. It's about introduction and use of the advanced feature of IP phone. Everyone has studied the basic training course before and has a basic knowledge of the product. Coming to the next, we want to share the advanced feature that you often use, mainly including the following four parts. The first part, registered IP phone in master and backup server. Enable hotspot function in the IP phone. The third part, cloud phone book, XML, LDAP. The fourth part, setting and dialing routes. Let's start the first part. Registered IP phone in master and backup server. When it comes to register on the master and backup server of the phone, you may be confused. But if we are talking about the master and backup server, you may know a little bit. Generally speaking, master and backup server are to ensure that the terminal can be resumed service at once. The sudden shutdown of a server causes big damage and may greatly affect the company's revenue and brand reputation. But if you have a backup server, you should be confident to recover the data in a short period of time. So it's the same principle to register the master and backup server of the phone. When the master server, which the phone register, is abnormal, the phone can be shifted to the backup server to ensure the service of the phone. When the master server returns to normal, the phone will automatically shift to the master server. You can see in this page, there are two servers in the configuration. These are two individual servers. When we register to the master server and the backup server, the SIP account must be the same. When we fill in the setting, we must pay attention to click Activate it and then Submit it. When the main server returns to abnormal status, the phone will automatically shift it from backup server to the master server. This process is controlled by the configuration of Enable for Back. This feature has been enabled by default. Coming to the second part, we will talk about Enable Hotspot function in the IP phone. This is what we often call SIP hotspot. SIP hotspot is a simple and practical function. It's similar to Wi-Fi hotspot and can be shared the SIP accounts to the other SIP phones. It's simple to configure it and realize the function of group ringing, and can also be expand the number of SIP accounts. It's very suitable for a hotel or apartment projects. For example, in a scenario of a hotel, there is a bedroom, living room. If each phone is equipped with one IP phone, it may be necessary to set up different IP SIP accounts for each phone. But if you use SIP hotspot function, you only need to register one SIP account for all the phones in this room. When the SIP hotspot function is not activated, if there's an incoming call, the call only goes to the phone in the living room, but the phone in the bathroom or in the bathroom will not ring. If the SIP hotspot function has been activated, as long as you dial the number to the room, the phone in the bedroom, living room, bathroom will ring together. After answering the call in one of the rooms, the other phone will stop ringing. So this is the group ringing. The basic principle is to use one phone A as SIP hotspot and other phone B and C as SIP hotspot client. When someone calls the phone A and B will all ring, and any one of them will be answered, and the other phone will stop ringing and cannot answer at the same time. When the B and C phones call out, they are all called out with the same phone SIP number registered on the phone. The SIP hotspot is a unique feature of Fanview IP phones. All Fanview IP phones and industry equipment supported this function. In particular, X210i can be used as a small PBX and work with other Fanview products such as I10, X4U, etc. to realize the management of the devices, including operations such as rebooting the devices, upgrading the configuration, and software versions. Now, I will show you how to set up the SIP hotspot. Let's prepare the setting of SIP hotspot. As shown in this configuration, first of all, we registered an account for the phone and use this phone as server of the SIP hotspot. For some advanced phones such as X4U, X5U, X6U, X7, etc., we can also register and SIP accounts as SIP hotspot server. In particular, if you do not want to register the number as a SIP hotspot server, you can set dial without register to allow the outgoing calls without registration. Only the SIP hotspot server can call to other client, means to other IP phones. The detailed settings is shown in this configuration. Next, enable SIP hotspot functions to the phone. Enable hotspot. Set the enable hotspot here in the setting, and the mode you should select hotspot. Monitor type. The monitor type can be broadcast or multicast. If you want to limit the broadcast packets in the network, you can choose multicast. The monitoring type of the server and the client must be the same. For example, if the client's phone is selected as multicast, the phone as the SIP hotspot server must also be configured as multicast. Monitor address. When the monitor type is multicast, the multicast communication address used by the client and server, the IP address range must be 224.0.0.0 to 239.255.255 and .255. The phone defaults to 224.0.2.0. If you use broadcasts, you do not need to configure this address. The system will use the broadcast address of the phone's WAN port IP for communication by default. Local port. The port number will be set up between 1024 to 65535. The phone uses 16360 by default. Filling the hotspot communication ports, the monitor address and the ports of the server and client must be consistent. The name. Filling the name of the SIP hotspot. Ring mode. Both the extension and the hosting ring. Extension. Only the extension rings. Host. only the host rings. Line setting. Set associate SIP hotspots function to the corresponding SIP line. When a SIP hotspot client is connected, the connected devices will be shown the device which currently connected to SIP hotspot and corresponding extension numbers. After the SIP hotspot connected successfully, you can see the relevant status information on the SIP hotspot on the client and server side as shown in this configuration. In the previous picture, there's a SIP hotspot server, and we can see the IP address, MAC address, and the MAC address of the SIP hotspot client, as well as the alias and the lines. And the alias corresponds to the client's grading number. The next, we just mentioned that X210, S210i is similar to the small PBX, mainly because it has a function of SIP hotspot management feature. It's SIP hotspot extension management on a separate page. Then you will find it in the line and its subdirectory hotspot managed extensions. When the SIP hotspot client is connected to the server, select the corresponding SIP hotspot client to move to the managed SIP hotspot from unmanaged extension information so that the SIP hotspot client can connect it to the SIP hotspot server. We can see the model and the MAC address and the software version, IP address of the SIP hotspot client in the managed extension information, as well as the extension number. We can edit the SIP hotspot client's number and can also perform software on the SIP hotspot client version upgrade and control SIP hotspot client's reboot. X210i can support the allocation of 100 SIP hotspot client numbers. About the SIP hotspot clients upgrade, we can go back to the managed extension number information. Then we can find here in there's an edit. Then we input the server address or corresponding firmware version. Then we'll be able to upgrade the client's firmware version successfully. After understanding the use of SIP hotspot, let's take a look at the third part, Cloud Phone Book. The Cloud Phone Book that we support can be divided to two categories, XML phone book and LDAP phone book. Cloud Phone Book, just as its name saying, is a phone book placed on the server, not stored locally. So there are multiple types of storage. Generally, the XML phone book is in XML format, and the phone book is placed on the server, and the phone can be loaded with the phone book by various transmission methods such as HTTPS, HTTP, TFTP, FTP, and LDAPs. Phone book is a kind of lightweight directory access protocol phone book. It can be displayed the phone book as a tree structure, which can be displayed the company's contact structure more intuitively. Now, it supports up to 4 LDAP phone book. I will give you a brief introduction to some more professional vocabulary in this interface. LDAP encrypted transmission mode. The default configuration is connected with the LDAP server without encryption. If LDAP is selected, a TLS SSL connection is established with LDAP server. Default port is 636. The encrypted transmission started with LDAP server established TLS SLS connection. Default port 389. Basic search means the starting position of configuration server and to start searching. Max means the maximum number of the sample. Name filter, for example, configure the name filter like this configuration and input the letter A, and when searching it means to search for all the CNs starting with A or all SNs adjective started with A. Pay attention that we must remember to enable in core search. In this way, when a call comes in, it will match to the number and the name of corresponding LDAP contact. And when the call comes in, the corresponding contact information will be displayed. Next, let's have a look at the fourth part, setting and dialing rules. The phone supports 8 dialing rules. The first one, punk dialing. After a user dial a number and a punk key up to dial out. Dial with a fixed length. A number entered by the user reach a fixed length and automatically die out. Use timeout dialing. The system will automatically die after timeout. Press pound to do blind transfer. After the user input the number to be transferred, then press the pound key and the current call can be transferred to the third party. Blind transfer, unhook. After the user enters the number, hang up the handset and turn off the hand-free so that the current call can be transferred to the third party. Attended transfer unhook. Hang up the handset and press the hands-free key to hang up and realize the attended transfer function, which can be transferred the current call to the third party. Attended transfer on conference on hook. When the three parties are talking, hang up the handset and the remaining two parties keeps the conversation. Blind transfer. By pressing the DSS key, the user sets a number in the memory key. Press the transfer key and transfer the current call to the third party. Enable E.164. You can also customize the dialing rules in the dial plan edit. By adding, deleting, changing, replacing these rules, users can easily set up the dial rules suitable for themselves, establish dial rules suitable for the user with their own server, which greatly improves the convenience of the phones and practical performance. Currently, up to 100 dialing rules can be added. For example, we can fix the length of the number and send the number quickly, or use the replacement method To make a very long number only need to be sent a very short number. When dialing, you can also add a prefix when dialing any lines. Well, this is all for today's course. Thank you for watching. If you have any question, you can send an email to our technical support email, support@fanview.com, or you can contact the technical support team of Fanview Technology. Thank you for your time today. Goodbye.